Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I was somehow about to say Days of Our Lives. Let's get to the Jason and Spinelli portion of this episode because I was somewhat conflicted. I love the relationship between Jason and Spinelli. That big brother, best friends kind of bond thing. I love it, you know? I mean, I remember when Spinelli first came on, and Jason, well, he really couldn't stand him. Like, he was annoying. Um, but over time, they became really good friends and really bonded. So, I love watching, seeing those two in action, seeing their relationship and stuff like that. And, they have a really good friendship outside of the show. So I love that part of this scene. The problem with this scene and the reason why it doesn't really do much for me is a couple reasons. I never really saw this relationship between Ellie and Spinelli. I never really saw it. So, them falling in love. I mean, listen, I wasn't there for that if they actually did have a character, but every time that he sits there and talks about Ellie and everything like that, it just seems like it's like them talking about Cook, Oh, Cook is really crazy in the kitchen, doesn't allow anyone in the kitchen. It's like, yeah, but I never seen us cook though. I know there was that one time that they actually showed it, but that doesn't count. The point is, it's like you never really saw their relationships go through any ups or downs or anything like that. This just seems like it came out of the blue. Which is another thing that doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense because, I mean, Ellie knew who Spinelli was, She knew what kind of friends that he associated with. So, out of the clear blue, out of nowhere now, it's just, oh, I don't want to sit there and be with you anymore. Your lifestyle's too dangerous. Now it is? Now. Like, right now. So the other 4 years ago, 5 years or whatever, it was just peachy clean. It was just all good in the hood. Like, it makes no sense. Just even from that portion, that portion of the story. But, yeah, seeing Spinelli being upset and sad and stuff like that a little bit was like, I don't care. I don't care because I never saw how the relationship went. So it's just like, okay, alright, whatever. Like, that's, But then he sits there and says, at the end of the day, he loves working with Jason. He loves working in an organization, and he's not going to give that up. And it's not fair for their two career paths to be going separate ways, and him sitting trying to hold on to her, and, whatever, and trying to make something work that's not going to work. So, ultimately, he chose the business. So yeah. Sorry about that. I actually had a loose button and I was just like, yeah, no. Let's talk about let's talk about Nina and Brooklyn, because Nina was coming at Brooklyn hella sideways. And I was just like, where's this coming from? And this is, of course, about the fact that, because, Nina was like, yeah, listen, I know the secret. And she came at us sideways, and I couldn't understand why. But then she was like, you're lying to Valentine, you're going to sit there and break his heart. Because Maxie just totally just did not give a damn. I get that she wants to protect her child, but just, still, it just still just rubbed me the wrong way, just how little she actually cared about his feelings, especially considering that, what did Valentine ever actually do to her? Like, she's always had this attitude against Valentine. Even when she was starting up her own company and she needed money and Valentine was there, she still had an attitude about it. Like, are you kidding? Okay, so anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, so yeah, Nina is like, what you're doing to Valentine and stuff like that is wrong, lying to him and everything like that. Now, the whole time, I'm sitting there, watching this woman sit there talking about morality and stuff like that, and like lying to people. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? You really want to sit there and talk about lying and what's right and what's wrong? And even towards the end of the conversation, even Nina was like, what right do I actually have about telling Brooklyn about lying? None whatsoever. I'm so glad we're on the same page about that. But yeah, after Brooklyn really sits there and talk to her, they both kind of agree that it's better to keep Valentine in the dark, even if it hurts it, even if it hurts him, it's just better for the baby, better for the situation. And I'm not gonna lie, let's be honest, Brooklyn, it's really better for you at this point. It's really better for you. The sad thing is that, Valentine is not gonna be the only person that's gonna get hurt. Violet's gonna get hurt. Ned is gonna get hurt. Pretty much the family, most of the family that's been bonding with that child is somewhat gonna get hurt. And I guess Brooklyn is probably gonna have to go back to Bed-Stuy after all this. Like after this whole thing comes out, yeah, she's probably gonna have to wind up heading out somewhere. Yeah. And let's talk about Brando and Gladys for a minute. Gladys talks about her near-death experience and how she's changed and yada yada yada. And I'm just like, Gladys, you are the same piece of poo that you've always been. You've always been this terrible human being, despite whatever near-death experience that you done went through. It didn't change a damn thing. Now we're at a point where she's sitting there trying to poison Brando against Sasha. Oh, I don't know if she really wants to have you that much in the business and yada yada yada. I'm like, wow, lady. So what is your plan, Gladys? You plan on poisoning him against Sasha so what, you can have him all to yourself? Because that's just gross. Like, it's something generally wrong about that. Even when he walked in and, Brandon, Gladys like, oh, I'm hoping not, cramping your style. I'm like, you are. Leave. Why are you here? Listen, I have no problem with a mother and a child, mother and a son want to spend time together and everything like that, but you just seem hella clingy. Like, you need a boyfriend or something. I mean, of course, I don't know anyone who would actually want to go out with Gladys, but she needs something. Anyway, so they're talking about that, and at some point, throughout this whole conversation and everything like that, Carly comes over. Carly comes over because, Brando's like, oh, Jason's going to need you now that Sonny's gone, and she's living it up. And just talking all sorts of smack about Carly and her family and everything like that. And Carly's just like, okay. Alright, I got you. And Carly was like, listen. Why don't you go buy your mom a drink and we can sit down and start talking. And, at this point, Carly is just like, yo, what is your issue? So you go back and forth a little bit and, Gladys is all like, oh, well, Brando could be a big asset to you, and you owe him, and yada yada. You're just being the usual slimy, disgusting version that she always is. And Joey Novak, because it took me a second to remember his name, Joey Novak is just kind of just hanging out, just walked in there, just uninvited, like everything is cool. And so Carly's like, listen, we'll talk about this later. And, Gladys is like, oh, you're ending the conversation. You're, like, it's your, something like, oh, who do you think you are ending the conversation or something like that. 1 second. Because that needs to be a thing. So, Carly's like, yo, you're not walking me. Like, what are you doing here? Joey's all like, oh, listen, your fiance ain't here, and I'm not scared of him, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, bro, So what? You walked over to his wife and started trying to act like you're a big man now? Like, are you kidding me? Would you would have had? I'm like, and that's the thing that really annoys me about people like him. People like him, will sit there and talk all hella crazy to somebody like Carly, but wouldn't dare to have that same energy with Jason. Because Jason took care of him before. But now he's not there walking to the car like, oh, I'm not scared of your husband. So say it to his face then. Yeah, that's what I thought. But anyway, it seems like he's trying to push her buttons or something like that. And Brando sees that, and Brando just walks over like, yo, is there a problem? Like, what's good? So he's all like, listen, I'm related to Sonny and stuff like that. You need your car done. I got you. Don't worry about it. And, with that being said, Joey backs off. He leaves. And Gladys is all like, oh, shouldn't you be happy of what he did for you and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, you are just such a piece of garbage. Brock TV is definitely the calmer one in the situation. I was watching one of his reviews, actually the 13th, I think yesterday's review. Not yesterday, the day before's review. And I was watching it, and he is just so much more calmer than me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I get, like, really, like, emotional about this stuff, because I'm just like, actually, that's just how I always am, but, like, watching his reviews and stuff like that, I was like, man, this guy is just all calm and cool and collective. Good for you, bro, because I just don't have that kind of patience. But, yeah, so Gladys is just being her usual disgusting self, and Carly's just like, even the son, even Brando is just like, it's so bad when your own son is embarrassed by you just by being in your vicinity, because it's another one of those, and the sad thing is he probably actually had to done that, like, he's probably had to do that his whole life. Just shake his head or apologize for her or something along those lines. So sad. So let's talk about, now Brando did run into TJ, and at first, Brando was like, hey, what's up or whatever, and TJ seemed like he was kind of giving him the cold shoulder, so Brando kind of walked off, and I was like, TJ, seriously? Now TJ did say, hey, listen, whatever happened, it happened before. There's no point in holding grudges and all that other stuff. Let's just, get past that. He also congratulated him on being a father. Something that he didn't do, when Sasha was there and him there and Molly and stuff like that. And, it was like, oh, I didn't sit there and say that before. I'm like, okay, I mean, that's cool that you said that now, but I'm not gonna lie, TJ bothered the living hell out of me. He really did. Because I'm like, you coming at him with all that smoke. But Molly was just, alright, I'm gonna sit there and be mad at her for like, I don't know, 2 hours. And then we're gonna make it work. But you, yeah, I got a problem with you. I wanna fight you. A trained military guy, I wanna fight. Because that made sense. That always vexes me, just in general. Like, when somebody's cheating on someone and you get mad at the other person, like you want to start fighting the other person instead of getting mad at that person. Like, yeah, you're mad at that person, but you still want to fight this other person. And it's just so dumb. It is so idiotic. And I just do not understand how people get to that point where it's like, oh, I'm so mad at you. Especially him knowing all the information. And I know it was about lying and stuff like that. And if you want to be upset with that, that's fine. But he got, like, viciously angry at him. And I'm like, you didn't have half of that crap for your domestic partner. Which, by the way, again, I just want to reiterate just how stupid that sounds. It sound. I know I'm just kind of going off on a tangent, but that just sounds so idiotic Especially considering the fact that, she started talking about the patriarchy, this, that, and the third. But you're going to have a ceremony just like a wedding. But no. It's domestic partners. Domestic. It sounds like dogs. But, okay, whatever. Anyway, they forgave each other. Bygones be bygones and whatever. So what else we got? Oh, Curtis and Portia. Because apparently Curtis can't wait until the ink dries. I mean, hell, he can't even sit there and wait until she signs the damn papers. Because they talk to each other for a little bit. It's all awkward and stuff like that. And TJ, at some point in this episode, is like, yo, what's going on between you and her? Listen, we're family. It is what it is. You like her, I want you to be happy. And, at this point, he's just like, I don't know, pretty much. Now, he does walk back up to Portia. Yeah. I just started sweating through my damn shirt, and I was like, nope, wardrobe change. But, he does walk back up to Portia, and he's like, listen, let's, if you want to figure things out, and you want to move forward, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. I understand. And, no pressure, but my club is opening tonight. So if you want to come over and, just do it up, you can. Whatever works for you. I'm just like, bro, I just do not understand. Like, the ink even dry. She hasn't even, sent in the papers, and already he's just like, yep, let's just go. Now, I don't get it twisted. I mean, like I said, she is Portia, Girl is bad in pretty much anything, especially what she was wearing. But I'm like, bro, you could just take some time to kind of just do you for a little bit, kind of meditate or something. Like, damn. I mean, I know his wife was like, yeah, I understand that you and her got feelings and stuff like that, but anyway, he gives her a choice. He walks away. Spinelli talks to Maxie real quick, and tells him that he's heading out of town, and unfortunately he can't take Georgie because his girl's leaving because apparently she forgot what he does for a living. So she's gonna go to Texas, which means that she's not gonna be on the show for a little bit because, well, brain surgery. Now let's talk about this side story, Just Mike. So Lenny comes in and he's having chest pain. So whatever this is, it's getting a lot worse. So they already, they're in New York. They're going to go see a doctor and stuff like that. And, throughout the course of it, towards the end. Now, of course, you got Valentine and you got Anna that at first is kind of hanging out at this pub or whatever. And once again, Anna's not there pushing Valentine away because I don't even know why at this point, but whatever. But they get some information as far as going to the hospital. So they want to go in there. Now, of course, not we all, but most of the fans are like, okay, cool. So this is the point where Anna's gonna run into Anna, or Valentine's gonna run into Sonny, and nope, that doesn't happen because they want to drag this out as long as possible. But yeah, now there's one important part. So Sonny, after seeing Lenny and stuff like that, and they got to run tests and stuff, he winds up going outside to try to find Phyllis. He sees a hat on the ground, and then he gets this memory of Mike, talking about letting him go and everything like that. And, he's just like, so it's like something, some of his memory is starting to come back. Now, of course, I can't wait till his full memory comes back. And, he winds up being upset with Nina for hiding the truth from him and everything like that. I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to be a cake party. Do not forget about the cake. It's going to be a great party. It's going to be great. But yeah, he seemed like he got a piece of his memory back. And it's 7 months. Because we're still doing this for some odd reason. Because this makes sense to someone. But, yeah. So that's one of the good parts that actually happened in the show. Valentine winds up knocking into Phyllis. And, you know, they sit down, they start talking, and she introduces herself, you know, Phyllis or whatever. So he automatically knows that because, you know, Nina and everything like that. What else we got? Now, the last part is the Sasha and... Put this right. Last part is the Sasha and Maxie part, which pretty much Maxie just sitting there saying that she's going to, you know, step away, kind of get some breathing room from, you know, Port Charles and everything like that, and kind of get a mindset. So she talks about that, and, you know, Sasha talks about Brando. You know, her whole hesitation about, as far as, like, moving forward with Brando, is because he still has ties to Sonny and the mob and stuff like that. So, you know, all the danger and stuff like that comes with it. You know, Sasha's like, I don't want that life. I don't want that life for me. I don't want that life for my child. I don't want to be a part of that world. Now, she does want to, you know, go into the pool. And she overhears, she overhears Gladys. And Brando's not there talking. You know, Gladys is like, oh, you know, you keep this up. You're going to sit there and be in good graces with Jason and Sonny. And, you know, Jason and Carly. And doing more work for them and stuff like that. So, you know, Sasha overhears that and she has this pausing moment. Now, you know, the responsible and adult thing to do is sit there and have a conversation with Brando. That's clearly not what she's going to do. She's going to push him further away, and, you know, all that stuff that Gladys is sitting there saying to Brando is going to start to, you know, like he's going to sit to him like, you know, maybe she was right. Now, she was right, but not for the reasons that you think or Gladys thinks, but, you know, I mean, if we were all adults in this show, then there wouldn't be any drama, so. And I think the last scene was pretty much Carly sitting there saying to Jason, you know, like Brando really stepped up today. As far as making sure that I kept my cool. You know, as far as thinking about him, as far as, like, you know, maybe, you know, putting him in the business. And I think that was pretty much about it, you know. So yeah, this episode was okay. Wasn't great, wasn't bad, but okay. I kind of felt like TJ was somewhat of a waste in this episode. I mean, besides the fact that he, you know, buried the hatchet with Brando, other than that, it was just like, alright, like, was your presence really necessary? I guess maybe it was, because he did sit there and talk to Curtis about, you know, maybe pursuing Portia or whatever. And Sonny's starting to get back some of his memory. Granted, it took like 7 months, but, you know, it probably would have been a little bit faster if Sonny would actually cared. And, of course, you know, you got Phyllis constantly sitting there pushing Nina towards Sonny. Oh, if you don't sit there and go to Nina now, you're going to regret it. You know what he would really regret? Not sitting there trying to look for his family. Or, I don't know, his wife? But, whatever. Anyway, with that being said, or his kids, but you know, whatever. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. See you in the next video.